Hello and welcome to you all. So it's been quite a while since you've seen my ugly mush on screen doing a layout update, so I thought I'd just show you a little bit of what I've been doing and some of the projects I've been up to and some of the future projects that I've got coming on, as well as some exciting news. So let's recap where we were. Now, if you haven't seen my videos, if you look back in from January onwards this year, you'll find, which is 2019, you'll find that I did a mini series, and that was all part 1, 2, 3 and 4 of the back section of building the back end of the layout where the door is. A very tricky part of the layout to build, and it had to be done last. It was something that I couldn't build first and then go round, and I think I was quite wise to do that. Now I'm looking back and I think, yeah, that was a good idea. At the time I was so frustrated because that was the one area I wanted to do as I walked in the door, and it just ate me away. I'm glad I've done it this way, and say it's taken 2 years to get to the point where it is now a complete full layout. It's scenery all around, complete back scene, and I'm really happy with it. The only thing I've got to do now is the little parcel depot in the corner, and then I've got to just finish off my underground section, which is just over there. Now, the reason why I haven't steamed on to do that is because once I've got all this now in place, I now realise I've really got to do the homework, the research, to make sure this ties in well, otherwise it just won't look right, and that's where it will bug me. So that's my next sort of phases, these two things, and they're projects that I'll pick up when I choose to pick them up, and no rush to do them. So that aside, that's pretty much an update on the layout, which I'll show you in some bits and pieces as we go around. Some of the other projects I've been doing was the Hatton's coal loads, or wagon loads I should say. Now, I saw Richard at New Junction. I've actually popped over to see him, and I saw the products, what he's got, and I had a little look at them, and he's also just done a video on them, which I'll put in the description below. If you've not seen the video, do check out the video, and it shows you how he implemented these loads into his wagons, and they're really simple, actually easy to do. And I was just wanted to know what the product was like, so I saw the methods, which is quite easy. We get a wagon, we put it in, we glue it, job done. But without seeing the product or actually using the product in my own environment, I needed to see what they were like. So I bought 3 of these from Hatton's. They haven't sent them free, but I'd be interested to see what the rest look like, and some wagons to put them in. That'd be really cool. So yeah, so I bought 3 of these, and this one is the iron ore. This one's the coal. And this one is the sand. That's really fine, that one, quite heavy as well. Now, the reason why I've gone for the sand, I did have some sand that I got from the beach, but it's just not right. This is very fine. These are all fine grade, so it's the 400 gram fine. Same with this one, it's the fine grain, and this one's a fine. You can get medium or you can get coarse, I believe. So yeah, they work really well. I was very impressed with the product, and I've just taken a lot of my wagons and I've actually added all these bits to them, and they've come out really well. I had one problem, and the only problem I had was the fine grain one, because it's so fine, and it's not the product by far. It was pretty much my ignorance, if I'm honest with you. The reason being, and that's the reason why I stopped training there, is I've added I've added a bolster inside, a little bit of plastic card and a bit of foam, just to sort of raise the load up. Then I've meticulously made my little design of sand. I created my little dunes there. I found that where I put my IPA alcohol on top to disperse the surface, when I put the glue on and the glue water mix, it left like a shiny residue, which is what PVA does. Now, this is not a problem with the product. This is a problem with me learning how to finish it off, really. That's what it was. But the easy fix for this was just to put another little paintbrush of glue literally on top of the surface that I created, put the glue where it needed to be, and then just sprinkled the last little layer on top, and then just dropped it off, and then any little gaps just filled them in. And you can see it's actually set nice and matty kind of look, and it's got a nice rough texture with a few definitions in there, and I'm really chuffed the way that comes out. It certainly looks the part, and I'm actually very impressed the way that has done. So well done, Hatton. So I don't know whether it's quite easy for you to source this and whether you've done a lot of research. I'd be interested to find out the kind of research you did onto these. But yes, they really look good. Full credit to you. They're really good. The sand one I really recommend. But again, all products are really good. But it'd be interesting to see what the rest do. But I'd need more wagons. I don't know if I already said that. Okay, so that's that really. I'll put that on there. So of course I've done my back scene, I've done my wagon loads, I've been doing a little bit more work upgrading new stock. A lot of you guys have been contacting me, and I've bought some new bits and pieces for the layout, new rolling stock coaches and new wagons, and the layout has completely come to life as it's intended in the BR days of my memories, and I think it really looks amazing. I'm really happy with it now. So the other things I've got aside, this was something that was in my dad's collection back in the day, and I've sort of grown through my life hearing about this, and then obviously it was passed on to me. Now this is the London Underground Bobo locomotive, the Sarah Siddons. Now last couple of weeks ago I went to London Transport Museum, which had an open day in Acton, and I was lucky enough to be invited with Susanna. So let's have a look at our day out at London. Well, good morning everyone. Here I am on the train at my local station. I'm just going over to meet Susanna at Aldershot, and then we're going to grab a train into London, and we're going to the London Museum today. Have a look around. I've never been before, so quite exciting venture for me, and something that I've really been wanting to do for a long time. So what we'll do, wait for this train to get ready. Just sitting here on an empty train at the moment, early morning, and as soon as the train's ready we'll depart and all the way up to London. Catch you in a bit. Now the Acton Museum is only open 3 days a year, so it's a very rare opportunity to look at the depot and see all this amazing old stock. Love the colours of this tube stock, I certainly remember it very well, and the interior, I love the seating, very comfy indeed.
You think London Underground is in such a transition at the moment, isn't it? Because,
especially when you compare it with today's seats, where people are crammed into trains in this kind of formation. But this is certainly more segregated than they are nowadays. And here is an overview of the actual museum, and certainly an eye catcher of one thing I love, the NSC branding. And if this is not cheeky tech heaven, then nothing is.
Hammersmith. I love Hammersmith Station. I can't be a bit Hammersmith.
So there is our Sarah Siddons, and from what has actually given me great inspiration for my very next project, and that actually wraps up a truly amazing day at the Acton Museum. And we had an absolutely great day, lots of giggles, and they had obviously the Sarah Siddons sitting on up in the museum there, and it's awesome. You know, I see it. I remember them as a kid, seeing them through the window, and so it was really nice to sort of just get up close to them. But this is the memory for me. I could go and buy one of these from any model shop, and I could stick it on the shelf and say, wow, it reminds me of my dad. I think the best thing to do is this is a brass kit from Harrow Model Shop, and this is about 30 years old, and I've lived with this pretty much all my life in a box, and I think it's now time to actually unleash this and make this into a locomotive. Now, as you can see, it's as it's been for 30 years, wrapped up since Harrow Model Shop sold off. I think probably even 20, yeah, I think it was about 20-30 years ago. And the instructions, not even, they're still fresh as the day they were put in there. So this has been preserved for many years, this box. So I think this is going to be my new project. I'm going to make this up. It's a brass and white metal kit with bits of plastic. Whether it's all there or whether it's going to fit, I really don't know. But this is going to be my new challenge, and I think this will look really nice. I'll put it on the layout for photographs, but it will actually sit up there once it's done, and I think it'll be pride and joy and a fitting tribute to a man that really inspired me into models. So that's my new project. God help me on that one. So yeah, that's a new thing to do. Some other news that's coming up. The Wally Club have invited me down to take part in one of their competitions they're doing this year, so I shall be there with many YouTubers, and there's a poster I'm going to put on the screen. It's going to be an awesome day. It's an open day for you to come down and have a look around the Wally Model Club, and it's going to be they're going to be a competition going. Myself, Richard from Everard, Richard from New Junction, Dave from Cottesmore, and Dean Park Dave. I think there's a couple more people as well. I won't go into too much detail. You have to find that out. So yeah, it's going to be a competition, and then that's going to be auctioned off for charity, and because it's a charitable cause, I'm in. I love it. So yes, it's a new thing to do. So that will be July the 7th in Birmingham, the Wally Club, run by Wally. So that's exciting news, exciting for me. I feel very privileged to be part of this, and I'd like to say thank you to them guys. Do check out their channel as well, which I'll put on the end of this video, the Wally Club, and they do lots of modelling tips and hints and things like that, and if you want some inspiration, definitely check them out or drop them a note, and I'm sure they'll give you information that you need. So with that all aside, I'm going to grab a drink because my throat is dry. We're going to have a little look around the layout, and then I'll show you some trains running. So the new additions to the layout, and we'll start with the Old Oak Bridge Engine Shed Road, my gravel road as I call it. You can see I've got a few little road signs. These are brass kits that I actually picked up from the Basingstoke show. I did have some scratch build signs that I had before, but these are so much better, and so nice little touch to this whole diorama. And got one in the old landy there at the back, and I think there's one dumped in the bushes somewhere in the back there underneath that tree. There's another one. So pretty prototypical, you see that kind of thing, but it certainly sets this area. So this is a new yard lamp. This was a non-working brass kit, and if I'm honest with you, this kit was a complete nightmare to make up. So fiddly, so fine, but I got there in the end. I think it took me over a week. Anyway, perseverance, I've got there. I just need to add lighting and then wire it all in, and then give it a nice little respray. So that's next on the agenda, and that certainly gives a nice sort of look to this area now with a proper yard lamp. Moving round to the back scene, I ripped out all the seafoam trees. They're all gone, and now I made all the hollow fibre trees with the wire bark that I made. And then obviously I've added little tiny rails around that electric box, so some little fencing. This is a scale model scenery kit from Justin, and there's a few of them dotted around the layout now. So panning back, you can see obviously our trees, and I've added tea leaves at the bottom just to sort of make it look of a dry area, that kind of thing. And I'll probably add a little bit more definition on the grass with that kind of thing as I sort of go through this transition on this area. And then we've added a brand new tree down in the depot, which is the depot of Old Oak Common Maintenance Depot. And you can see there, it certainly looks really eye-catching there with the water tower just behind it. And I think that really sets this whole scene now. Moving into the new town scene, you can see I've added a little barrier for our car park, so we can actually catch the cars going in and out. That makes a difference. And then if we pan round, you can see just underneath the tree there by the little mini, there is a post box. So we've added that so people can now post the letters. I've added a little bit of a tarmac on the pavement just behind the yellow Reliant Robin there. The Reliant Robin was a find from a model shop when we went to the Acton Museum. And literally saw this, so I had to grab it, and it certainly looks like a Rodney and Dale boy sort of pull up and park here anywhere with their little suitcase on the top. I think it was an AA van that I just completely rubbed down and scratch built into this little Only Fools and Horses vehicle. So yeah, a little bit of fun outside Peckham Springs, as I call it. And if you just move down into the corner there, you can just see a little drain that I've added some black around it, just to create a more definition as well. And then obviously there's these newer trees that we've added and replanted along with the moss and the weeds that are hanging in the brickwork. And that really completes this whole section, which leads into the new door section that I've just finished. So there you go, that brings me to a close on this video, and I hope you found some inspiration or some help and tips on some of the things I've shown. Don't forget the Hatton's Wagonloads, really good product, really recommend it. Did I say they come from Hatton's? Or probably not. They're from Hatton's, so really good. Stop it now, Gary. So yeah, that's there is some great products out there, some great stuff, and they've certainly got a good product there. Anyway, always left me to say, take care of yourself, whatever you do. Don't forget the Wally competition that we'll be partaking. Come down and visit us, and you can see us all YouTubers in the flesh. There's just a handful of us, and you can meet and greet, and it'll be quite a relaxed, fun day. I'm sure it will be. So yes, do come down and see that. That's in July the 7th. I will be at some of the exhibitions coming up, probably October and in November, so there's lots of things going on. It goes a little bit quiet for me at the moment, but I will be around, and if you're at an exhibition, do look around, because I always welcome to say hi. I'd like to say a massive thank you to you guys for helping support the channel and following and keeping me going, and I'd just like to say thank you to that, and that really means a lot, so it's very endearing. Thank you guys. Till next time, look after yourselves, and as we always say, and you don't need me to say it, happy modelling. Cheerio.